All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. As always, I hope everyone is having an amazing day. Up and ready to go, or at least have a productive day today. So, first and foremost, I'm not sure if you saw my last video, but when you wake up, make sure, or before you go to sleep, make sure you do your gratitudes. Say at least 3 minimum things you're thankful for that you haven't said that you was thankful for yesterday. Okay, so make sure you do that. So starting off for me, first and foremost, I am thankful for being alive. I'm thankful for my kids, and I'm thankful for my peace. Okay, so stuff like that. So make sure you do at least minimum of 3. You can say it verbally, but to me, it's best you write it down. So whenever you have one of those moments in your life where you feel like things not working out, you have something to go back to look at this to show you how thankful and blessed you are. Okay, so always remember that. So whenever you having one of those slow moments and you just feel like I don't want to be bothered by my parents, I don't want to be bothered by my friends, I just don't want to be bothered by anyone, because just life is not life for me right now. Go back into your notebook and just read over random, just flip through the pages and look at all the things you are thankful for. And before you know it, you'll be like, you know what? It ain't as bad as I thought. You understand? This is a way to help to pull you out. So it's like you're that fish that keeps jumping back in the little fish in the little bowl. You know how like the goldfish in the bowl? You got to reel yourself back out of there and put yourself back around, in the right mindset, okay? So don't jump off to the deep end and drift away. Reel yourself back in, okay? Just be thankful, all right? So that part. I have a couple things I want to talk about. I'm not sure how this gonna go. Then I also have a topic where I heard a child speaking on something. So I want to talk on that today. I know that for a fact. So first and foremost, I want to explain a little bit more detail about myself. So right now I'm talking from my reality, mindset. I'm very intelligent, very, very intelligent. Am I, do I have a degree? No, I do not have a degree. Okay. The way I'm going to just try to explain a little bit how my personality is. All right. So I don't have a actual degree like any college student. I don't have one. I tried college, but I don't have that. Okay. But I did try. So, on my journey as a kid, I always zoned in on myself. Despite that I helped so many people out, I zoned in on myself. So what I did was, as a kid, I paid attention to details. I self-taught myself as a child. I didn't depend on others. I talk and communicated with people just so I could say that I'm being social. However, I actually did my own research ever since I was a kid. So when I was the last age I can remember was about 3 years old, 4 years old. That's the last age I can remember. That's it. I don't even have no baby pictures of myself or anything. So 3 or 4 is the last age I can fully remember. So as a kid, I was the type of person that I stayed to myself, but I knew how to hang around with, cousins and stuff like that. But I was the type of person that I like to pay attention to details. In y'all world, you think that's being nosy. In my world, I'm minding my business, okay? Because I have to figure out how to navigate in the world I'm in, all right? So as a kid, I allowed myself to understand the people I was around. So family members, I paid attention to how they communicated with me. That could be, aunts, uncles, grandparents, the mother. I had a sibling, which is I have a brother, just in this reality. And then I had cousins. So it wasn't like I was around a lot of people like that. So I used to just sit back and pay attention to how they communicated with me. How they respond to when they get mad, when they get sad, when they get happy. Now, to a lot of kids, you probably think that's a lot of work. Nah, it's fun. It's fun to pay attention to details. It's not that I'm running out and getting into somebody's business and saying, what are you talking about, this and that. No, if you come into me and you hold a conversation to me, I'm going to listen to you. Okay? I'm going to listen. And when I listen, I'm paying attention to how you respond and stuff. Then, when we in a group, I'm paying attention to how you communicate to those people compared to how you talk to me. This is how I self-taught myself in things. I did that when it came to people. When it came to, life stuff, like cooking and stuff like that, I self-taught myself on certain things. Now, don't get me wrong, I learned by watching. So whenever, my mother was cooking, I would watch her. And then I had a grandmother that when she cooked, she wouldn't even allow me to watch. So I took the two things. So one, I got to see how they done things whenever I pop around and look. And then the other one, I had to go off of smell and taste. So I had to find a way how to balance the two out. So when I was a kid, so with my grandmother, there was a lot of things she cooked, but I didn't know how she cooked it because she wouldn't allow me in the kitchen. So I started paying attention to the taste of the food. And I start asking myself, what flavors are in this food? And that's how I done it. So I start asking myself, what the flavors? What are the ingredients that I can taste? Once I done that, then I started looking at the way the food looked. And I said, okay, how can I create the same picture with the taste? So that's how I started learning how to cook. Just off of the taste of food and the ending of what it looked like. So, excuse me. So, trial and error. I would get food. I would put all the seasonings in that I can actually taste. Because the way my brain operates, and all of your brains can do this, you have to train it. Okay? So, when you eat food, you got to be able to say, okay, can I taste salt? Okay, I can taste salt. Can I taste pepper? I can taste that. Can I taste a seasoning? What's that seasoning I taste? You already have the ingredients in the cabinet. You just got to figure out which one it is. Sometimes you can open up the seasonings and smell it, and that can give you an idea as well. So that's how I done it. I got to a point where I wanted to eat certain things. So I will put the ingredients together to the way I felt like it smelled, and then I'll cook it. And then I'll cook it until I felt like it looked like what the last image of what it was. And that's how I learned how to cook. I didn't use measuring cups and stuff. Couldn't get into that. I still barely can do that now. But that's how I start teaching myself. Because I lived in a country area. So it's like we don't have like things where you can go and do. You literally like outside is it. So a lot of times I was always by myself. So I had to figure certain things out. Electronics. I used to look at different electronics and stuff. And I would take stuff apart. Now, I don't advise everyone to do it because, stuff is expensive these days. It was then too. But whenever it was something I was trying to understand how it operated, I operated on it. So I think I talked to y'all about this before. Like we had a VCR back in the day. So y'all, like a DVD player or something like that. Or think of like your PlayStation or Xbox, something like that. So I used to look at it because I was wondering how does this thing work. But back in the day, we had the VHS tapes. And if I don't forget, I'll put a picture of what I'm talking about up here. So the VHS tapes used to get stuck inside of the system. So I got to the point, I'm like, why does this keep getting stuck? So I would go in and screw the whole thing and look at it while it's stuck inside of it. And I would pay attention to all the things that was in it. And I just look at it. And then based off of that, that's how I knew how to get the things unstuck. And then I was able to fix the item and put it back together. That's the kind of stuff I used to do. What else? Yeah, I used to find things. The older I got, the more I started navigating. I navigated the world that was around me. It didn't matter what it was. I looked, I searched, I did whatever I needed to do. We didn't have like Google and all of that. So I had to use my own search engine. When I was a kid, we used to walk around in the woods and stuff. So whenever I walked in the woods, I pay attention to the woods, the way the trees was and the leaves was and stuff like that. If you look at trees, if you notice, they're not all the same all the time. It's mixtures of different trees all combined together. I used to pay attention to those things. Like gravity, the way of jumping off of things, ramps. When I was a kid, we used to build these ramps. And I was a clumsy person, but I didn't allow that to stop me. So, for example, riding bikes. Every time I rode my bike, everybody like, get away, because I'll bump into somebody in a heartbeat. But I didn't let it stop me. So I had a fear of heights. So we created the little ramps, and we'll ride the bikes and jump out the ramps. Did little different things. It was just navigating different things in the world. So by doing that as a kid and not being so stuck into like video games and all these different things, I start understanding life a lot more. And the more I start noticing, I was able to understand different people personalities, and I was able to know who I was talking to when I was talking to them through different people. Navigating. So navigating is not always about driving on the road. Navigating is also knowing the people you're talking to and you're dealing with. Even friends, so-called friends I started notice things about them. The way they communicate, the way they talk whenever they're in my presence. So it got times where I will make sure I walk away. I never liked being in groups. I don't care if I didn't know who you are. I walk away and be in my own world. And what I used to do is when I was in school, let's get to like high school. I'm going to jump up a notch. So when I was in high school, I walked the hall. When I would be in the hallways, I navigated the groups that I had to walk past. And I started noticing different personalities in the groups. And then that's how I learned how to, excuse me, I learned that I didn't have to be around people to love who I was. I learned that, yeah, it's okay to talk to people, but I also noticed that the ones that was in groups never knew how to be by themselves. See, you learn a lot by paying attention to the details of the people around you. So even the same people that joked on me and was being mean towards me, I realized that they couldn't live without other people. So I started learning how to navigate that. So there was times that I would be in groups with people, either in class or different things, just to get enough of information for myself. Meaning, let me see how I operate to be in a group. Can we all communicate together? So when it came to like group projects, right? That's when I really noticed the difference about people the most. When you go on group projects, right? 9 times out of 10, the teacher is the one that decide who the people are, or you decide. So I had the times where we had to decide. There was plenty of times I was probably by myself. And I work better by myself because I get more done. But then groups. When we're in a group, now when the teacher makes up the group, now it's like, okay, you're dealing with different personalities now. You're dealing with the one that don't want to do the work. You're dealing with the one that barely want to do the work. You're dealing with the one that want to control everybody's stuff. And then you have me, the one that's just sitting back, has the ideas, but don't want to say nothing. Yeah, I was that person. Now, there was times that I would give a little bit here, but then I started noticing, oh, these people want to have control. This one over here wants to get all the credit, but don't want to do the work. So you start learning about people's personalities and how they operate with each other. Now, because we are in this group, all of these people that's in the group with me are part of separate groups. And then you start noticing the personalities of those. So again, I don't have a degree, but I have a degree. I paid attention to what matters the most. When it came to that, it helped me to navigate when I did try to go to college. So when I tried to go to college and I was around different things, it helped me to know that 1, we all make mistakes. 2, everybody's scared. 3, everybody want to be a leader. 4, but people think they the boss. You start paying attention to the details. So the more I start navigating, the more I start understanding how to work for my life, how to figure out myself. Because in this process, I didn't allow myself to sit back and take defeat because I didn't like school. I'm going to tell you right now, when I was in middle school, elementary school, high school, I did not like none of it. I couldn't stand it because I didn't understand it. College and all, I did not like any of it. But I know I needed it. It's like one of the things, I need to know what I need to know for where I need to go. The teacher's talking about history. Why do I need to hear about these people back in the day? What's the purpose of me listening to this? I'm going to tell you exactly how my mindset was. Why am I listening to this? We talk about slavery all day long. We talk about the colonization and the wars and all that. But we don't know. Like, the only time when we talk about positive things is when it's like we doing a report for like Black History Month or something like that. Other than that, all we talking about is all the hard and hateful stuff. But why are we talking about that all the time? Why are we not talking about how we can create new things? This is how my mind was in class. You understand? No different than when I was in elementary school. We talking about numbers, we talking about colors, and we're coloring. But why are we not learning how to try to create new things? Why is it that we still getting the same old coloring pictures, the same blocks, the same numbers over and over again? Why you're not teaching us how to think outside the box and create? Why you're not pulling those ideas out of us? Yeah, I'm in elementary school, y'all, and in my head it's like, why am I still doing the same color, the same rainbow that Dorothy did back in the day? Like, last time I checked, we can create our own rainbows. We can change the colors up if we want to. You know, why are we stuck on this same stuff? Why is it that when it comes to designs and stuff, why is it that just because I may be 5 years old don't mean that I can't draw a building? Like, help me to learn to draw with more than just a stick figure. Come on, I know we know the basics, but help pull more out of me. I'm still a child that wants to keep my imagination going. But y'all just want to have me to do this and throw me back on the bus. This is how my brain operates. Middle school. Okay, we're doing science and stuff. Okay, we're talking about science. Then why we're not actually doing the science? Why is it that we just reading about it and talking about it? But if we're gonna do science, don't you have to connect something in order for something to become something? So just me reading this ain't connecting the dots because there's no energy coming towards this. So these are the way my mind operated as a kid, and I hope y'all can still follow me through this process. I wanted to look outside the box, but I realized we kept being stuck in one. The same routine over and over and over again. Ain't no different than going to the gym. Either you playing basketball, you playing kickball, or you running in circles. Why we can't create a new game by now? I forgot we're going to throw the little tarp up and run under it and sit under it. Why we can't do something new? Why we still doing the same stuff that our mama and them done back in the day? Why we can't be creative? Now all we want to do is sit to the side and be like, we don't want to do it. It's crazy. By the time you get in middle school, you adult. You think like an adult now. You literally adult. Because you realizing you're being programmed. But you don't realize you're being programmed. But you notice it's like, I'm tired of this service that I'm keep getting because it's not working for me. So I start paying attention to the details. The teachers, they're not having fun talking about stuff. They're being dull. They're not being excited. Well, if you went to school for all of this, why you sounding all like you bored at your own job? I paid attention to the details. And if this is your career and this your purpose, you should be excited. You should be like, yeah, like, come on, y'all, class. You should be hyping me up. So we're talking about this and that. All right, we're talking about history. Now, let's put the history into a present tense. What would you do if you was in a situation? Or if you in the future, how would you prevent this situation from happening? We always stuck in the past, but why we can't find things in the present that help us to know how to navigate the future? Ain't no different than math. You sit there and you put these numbers together and all of that just for us to learn how to count money, just for them to take the money from us and give us cards. What was all of that for? Y'all literally put us in school to learn how to count bills, paper money, just to give us credit cards at the end of the day. So you telling me I wasted part of my time on this? That's how my mind process work, y'all. And I know a lot of y'all feel the same way. It's like, why are we learning about stuff, all this past stuff, and then y'all gonna change it on us by the time we get out of high school? Shucks, they change it on you by the time you got out of elementary, middle school, and high school. They change it up on you. By the time you learn all of this stuff, they change it on you. So you telling me we wasting our time? I'm just gonna talk to you though. I'm gonna always be honest with y'all. Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. Even high school, you in high school. I was in band, so I tell you, I self-taught myself. I got in band. So hold on, let me go back and stuff. When I was in middle school, the only sport that I did join was baseball. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, back then could I run? No, I ran slow. Even though I got on the team by pity, because somebody knew somebody of the family. But the only reason I got on the team because I was gaining weight. I knew I didn't think that I was going to get on the team, y'all. This is how I operate. I knew that I was gaining weight because everybody, all the adults kept talking about how big I was getting, right? And I wasn't even that big, just to let y'all know. But I was like, I need to lose weight. So I said, I'm going to join the softball team. I didn't think that it was going to put me on it. I only done it just so I could go to practice, so I could have somebody coach me to run around the daggone field, just so I could lose the weight. That's how my mind operated. See, I knew that I needed motivation in different ways, that I wasn't getting where I was supposed to get it at, which was home. So I found somebody else to motivate me without them knowing they was motivating me. It wasn't even about the game. It was about me helping get my health back on track. It was literally like that. That's how my brain operates. No different than when I got in high school. I joined the band. Was that in middle school? No. That was middle school. I joined the band. Just so I can be able to get out of the house. That was it. It wasn't about the music. Now the instrument I played was a saxophone. Now I always wanted to play the saxophone. It was just something about the saxophone that done something to me. But other than that, I just want to get away from being home all the time. That's how my brain operates. I found ways out. I always found the way out. So I joined the band. I'm be honest, I wasn't even into it like I wanted to be. It was just a way to get away. And then the thing about it was, I did all of these, we did all of these different things, the music. The only song that I could catch, that I actually like out of all the songs was the Batman theme. Go figure, right? Batman was the only song that I liked. Only one. Then I got into high school. Still learning about different things. Watching these teachers, watching this stuff. Watching how the principals and them act. Noticing that, okay, so I'm in high school now. Now we have the teachers that's only caring about sports. So I'm in my classes and my grades are not good at all. We ain't gonna talk about the grades from the last time, so they wasn't good either. So just to let you know, I had my moments. But anyway, in high school, now you think you have teachers that understand, because we're about to get out here and go to college. And you start noticing the teachers don't even care about you. They only care about the ones that's in some type of sports or something. Now, this is not for all. This is my life, not your life. This is my life. So, I'm in a class not doing good. Teacher's not even trying to help. So, I'm like, okay. Now I'm at that point, I feel like giving up again. Now, I feel like giving up a couple of times before, but I ain't going to focus on that. But I'm in high school because now I'm about to be on my own, y'all. So, I can't be in band because I can't afford it. Because what happened was I did join during the summertime, I tried to join the flag team. This is crazy. They passed. Was able to be on the flag team, but couldn't afford the money for the camp. The camp was like $200 some. Couldn't even afford it. So I went through all of that training to learn something new, which I actually enjoyed. Got to the end, made it and couldn't even be a part of it. And I was like, you know what, it is what it is. I felt some type of way, but I say, you know what, it may not be meant for me. So the next thing is, I'm in all these classes and I'm like, man, I can't stand none of my classes. None of them. Couldn't stand any of them. So we had this thing called JROTC. The first year I was in school, I didn't do it. I was like, no. But the second year, I think it was sophomore year, I was like, I'm going to join it. Because it was like something about the military. It's like, man, I always wanted to go to military. It wasn't about the wars. It was traveling. I just always wanted to get away. I just wanted to travel the world. That's all I ever wanted to do in my life, is travel the world. Didn't meet new people and travel the world. That was it. I didn't care if I had to be by myself. Travel the world. That was it. So I got into RTC and I started learning about all the different things, the chain of commands and all of that. So it was my first year and they had the chain of command. So I was doing so well in the class that they was going to try to make me the commander. I think it was the commander-in-chief my first year, if not mistaken. They was going to make me the commander-in-chief over all the classes. And I'm like, this is my first, I think it was like, yeah, my first year. It was my first or second year in it. So what happened was with JRTC, I was in that class. I skipped the first year, but my last year, I was in it twice. So what happened was I asked them, I said, can I take this class twice? So I actually did 4 years within 3 years. So when I was in JRTC, what made me love it so much, like I love the class so much, especially the teachers I had, but I loved it so much that I left my other classes just to be there. They don't realize how that class is what kept me going. And what happened was this, I figured a way out. Now I'm not telling y'all to do this, I'm just talking about my life. So I like the freedom in the class that I had so much, to the point that like my history classes and I had history, Spanish and all this. So I would go to the teachers before the class start. Like, so if I'm in history class, I'll go to I will go to my Spanish class, right? But I'll go to my history teacher, get the notes from the history teacher, and then come into my Spanish class and do the notes and stuff. And while I'm in my Spanish class, when I'm in JRTC, my first one, I'll go to my Spanish teacher, get all the notes, and do all of it. So technically, I was doing assignments from other classes into other classes, just so I could be able to get out of classes early. Yeah, I found ways how to get out of my classes early. Yeah, I couldn't stand my classes. So when I come into the classroom, I'll have all my work done. This is how I made it through, y'all. I'll have all my work done. So as soon as I come into class, the teacher will be like, y'all make sure y'all do these assignments, this and that. And I'll literally be like, I'm done. And all the classmates be looking at me, especially my last year, they'll look at me like, how the heck you done? I use my time wisely. I would literally, and the teacher will see my work, and it's done, it's complete. Turn in, can I go to the JRTC class? Yeah, okay. Same thing for my other stuff. Or I would do all my work early just so I could go to sleep in the class. I know. I'm not telling y'all to do this. I'm just talking about myself. But this is how I use my time wisely. I paid attention to the details. I was always steps ahead. Always steps ahead, because I paid attention to how my life operated. I paid attention to the times and the ways how people was doing things around me and stuff like that. So I was always ahead. I already knew, just in case I fall asleep in class, just in case something happened, I got my stuff done on time. I was always ahead. So when it came to JRTC, reason why I loved the class so much was they had so many different things. So we had drill. We had the shooting, don't get me wrong with the names of everything, I can't remember all, but you had drill. So with drill is where you follow in order and lines and stuff like that, those drill competitions. The shooting competitions, now I was a part of that, wasn't good at it, but I was a part of it. The knowledge part, where you had to know everything about the military, boy, I don't know how, but I was scooped through that quick. You could ask me any question and I would tell you everything. I don't know, it's crazy. Like, out of all the classes, I was really the only one that knew all the history. Don't ask me now, but I knew all the history of a lot of military stuff. I memorized it by heart, because they had those competitions. The guard with the guns, where you have to do the salute and all of that. I did that. When they had where you have to do left face, right face, but they'll give you cadence, and whoever can, they'll give you random cadence, and you had to do it. And if you miss the cadence, you get kicked off. Not kicked out, but it's like a tournament. So, long story short, the reason why I loved it so much, because it gave me opportunities to strengthen myself in so many different ways. Even running. I can't stand running. Okay? But we had the little drills where you had to run and do all these different things or whatever. I couldn't stand running, but I was in it. I done it. It's like every single thing. Even when we had drills where we had to do like our dance cadence and stuff, I was shy. I was a shy person, but I put myself in situations to help overcome all of my fears. All of my fears. I did this for myself. I did all of these things so I can overcome my fears. If I had to talk in front of somebody, I put myself in those situations just to overcome my fears. And, excuse me. So when it happened was, every single time we go to these competitions, I'm the only one out of all the classes that's in all of the daggone, all the competitions. Every single one of them. Other people in the class, they in this one or they in that one. I was in all of them. You talking about somebody running like a chicken with the head cut off. I'm running from each competition back and forth, back and forth. I had to learn all of this stuff. And then I'm also doing my schoolwork as well. I had to learn all of these different things. But I did it to train myself, because I didn't have anybody else doing it for me. I had to figure out how to live my life, even if I didn't know what the life I was living. And I'm a teenager, y'all. So it wasn't so much of, oh, let me go just hang out with friends and this and that and all of that. I taught myself things that I could, for free, that people go to college for to have to learn. That's what I done. When I got older, like I said, the whole college thing, it didn't work for me. So whatever I wanted to know that was in those classes, so like psychology, I would look the stuff up. Or I would pay attention to people and do my own research. I try to go to school for culinary. I said, okay, I'm going to look this stuff up. I'm going to go to YouTube and learn how to do this stuff myself. You understand? That's what I done. I self-taught myself. When it came to jobs, the older I got, when it came to jobs, I paid attention to the details. So whatever job that I had, I would ask, okay, if I work customer service, that's my job, all right? I learned everything in my job. Then I would learn the stuff of all the other jobs around me, okay? If my manager came to me and stuff, I would ask them the process about being a manager. Every job I operated, I made sure that I knew how to operate each level of where I was working at. I had to self-teach myself. Because in my head, I said, oh, I'm going to be a leader. I already knew I wanted to work with people. I already knew I wanted to help people. But in order to be able to do that, you need to know the chain of commands. That's what JRTC showed me. I learned the chain of command of everything that I was a part of. Even the situations, the older I got. I don't care if I was in a bad situation. I learned the chain of command. I don't care if I'm hanging out with friends. I learned the chain of command. Okay, we're going out. If you're doing something you aren't supposed to do, who's the driver? Okay, I'm going to be the driver, the chain of commands. I had to learn the levels of every single thing that was around me. Now, excuse me, when I state this, you might like, that sound like a lot. That's too much work. I'd rather work this job than work that job. You understand? I'm not here to be a person that's going to be working underneath someone the rest of my life. That's what I told myself. Because I want freedom. I want freedom, and only way you can be free is when you learn the rules to life. I kept self-teaching myself. Kept learning things for myself. It wasn't that I was being nosy. I was being nosy. If I'm going to put my nose in somebody's business, it's going to be mine. No different. You should do the same for yours. Because I self-taught myself by learning the environment that I had, no different than watching TV. I utilized the TV as my college. When it came to family, now I'm at family therapy. I knew when I watched the Cosby shows, Family Matters, Full House, that was my family therapy sessions. I knew how to operate. When it came to music, when I listened to rap, like I wasn't a big person about rap music, but I noticed a difference with it when I was younger. Now I'm older and I know, okay, so really, we really was handling like that the whole time. I didn't know how connected I was, okay? I slept a lot, y'all. I didn't know I was that connected. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. It's still like, oh my God, really? So, and I'm going to get into that as well. But when it came to music, and I'm listening to the songs, I said, okay, this song makes me sad. This song makes me happy. This song makes me angry. This song, okay. So, you basically tell me music is how we actually express our emotions. So it's okay to have this emotion because this is what this person done and this is how they got out of it. And so forth. So, I went to psychology classes. I just didn't go to the school. You understand? Excuse me. Governments. When I started noticing how I learned about the government. Oh, so we're going to watch this movie today. Excuse me. So we're going to watch this movie. Oh, Independence Day. Or the Apocalypse movies. Or even Jurassic Park. All of these different movies. That's how I learned about the governments. I didn't have to go to a political class for that. When it came to laws and stuff, okay, now I'm going to look at the news. Okay, this person going to jail for this, but that person didn't go to jail for that. This person up there did this, but they didn't do that. I didn't have to go to an actual, government class because I found out how to operate the police through the news. Oh, they got new medicine out. All right. Excuse me. They have new medicine out. I know what that feel like. How many times I had somebody gave me medication. Do your research. This medication is online. They talking about this medication can cause some type of issue in your life. Okay, now let me pay attention to the small disclaimer under all of the medications. Oh, it can cause this, and that. Oh, so this is what can cause mental health issues. So let me go back to the Cosby Show. We know if we don't act like them, that's where we're going to be at. When it came to spiritual life and the things about the spirit, I paid attention to preachers and the congregation. So whenever I went to church, I paid attention to what the pastor was saying and the ones that was hooping and hollering. And then I paid attention to once we walked out the door. Okay. So that's the word. That's the response. That's the action. We're not going to follow that. I'm not going to follow that because if what that person is saying and this is how this person reacting and that's the response behind it, but we supposed to be doing what's right. Nah, I'm not on that. I'm not on that level. We need to figure something else out. Let me go to another church. Let's see if this happens again. Oh, it happened again. Let's go to another church. Let's see if this happens again. That's literally how I ran my life. I paid attention. That's how I started noticing the difference about the spirituality and the psychology of it and the systems that we live in, which is the order. So I start paying attention. Then I start watching the Animal Network. Watching that. You see that snake over there? Don't that snake remind you of something? May not look like one, but you sure acting like one. Okay, hold up. There's a lion over there. You may not, well, you kind of are looking like that. You sure acting like one. You start noticing the correlations. Tell you, I didn't have to go to college to learn to get an education. Pay attention. So, what I'm trying to get at, y'all, is this. Learning yourself doesn't mean you being nosy. When you paying attention to your environment, there's a difference when you going into your little friend groups and you asking them these questions and be like, what you up to, this and this and that. Now, I understand if we being there for someone and be like, hey, are you good or are you okay? That's one thing. But when you gossiping, and excuse me, y'all, I'm sorry, my shirt. When you're gossiping, I'm just doing it. When you're gossiping and you sitting back talking about everyone, how this going to help you? How this going to heal you? See, that was a difference. While everyone around me, from a kid all the way up, was gossiping about me or anybody else and talking about the way I dressed, the way I looked, way I was, and this and that, they didn't realize that I was discovering the network the whole time. Now, I know how to navigate the channels. And I realized this whole world was a Cartoon Network. So when you realize that everybody is just playing a role and just acting like characters, you realize we might as well laugh because everybody being clowns. I'm going to call it what it is. You understand? So all I'm saying is this, y'all. If you're going to go out here in the world, every day you get up, go to school, you go do whatever you need to do. Do what you need to do to build yourself up. Because as long as you doing this, now you have something to watch once you watch in the process. Because you're going to start realizing the whole world is a circus. And when you understand that the whole world is a circus, now you know how to be who you're supposed to be while they're acting. Okay? So all I'm saying is this. Never feel like focusing on yourself, but you can still communicate with people. Never feel like focusing on yourself is a boring job. It's never boring. It's never boring. It's you. When you focus on yourself and you focus on the things, but you ain't got to be disrespectful to anybody. You don't have to dog anybody out. You ain't got to do any of those things. When you focus on yourself, you realize, like, oh my God, this is an amazing book. Like, I really feel this way. The world really look like this. And then you realize, why am I pretending for? Why am I sitting out here pretending to be something I'm not? Why am I allowing other people's opinions affect who I am? Why am I allowing family, friends, all of these things to make me feel like I'm less than? Love yourselves. You are the most amazing book that the world has ever created. Because it's only one copy. So enjoy it. Don't sit back and be worrying about all these other things. Because like I said, when you focus on yourself, right? Your main goal is going through the chapters. When you get through the chapters, you will understand the value of peace. And there's two ways you can look at peace. Peace as a missing piece to the puzzle, and a peace within the mind, body, and spirit. So, when you're out here in this world, and you already know the world's playing a game, just sit back and focus on your own picture. Find a missing piece to your puzzle. And then you will understand the creation that you are. And now you will actually have the full peace in mind and know that you don't have to deal with none of this other stuff. So while everybody else focuses on everybody else and everything else, now you can enjoy what's in front of you. You can be thankful for what's in front of you. You can be appreciative of what's in front of you. So don't sit back and think that don't sit back and take school for granted. Don't sit back and take life for granted. But if you're going to get a free ticket, you might as well enjoy the circus. On that note, y'all have a blessed day.